If you've been a Nintendo fan in the last few months, one of the most notable trends you're probably familiar with would be the anti-piracy cutscenes, in which YouTubers make theoretical anti-piracy measures for video games. It's a pretty unique trend. I tried to make an anti-piracy cutscene as well. But it all started with Joey Perleoni, the godfather of anti-piracy. And he made anti-piracy cutscenes for Mario Party DS. And I'll be honest, a lot of anti-piracy videos I've seen on YouTube overall aren't that good. They're creepy only for the sake of being creepy, and it feels way too fake most of the time. But that's not the case with Joey Perleoni, the OG, as he made some of the best and most unique anti-piracy cutscenes. They're original while still feeling realistic. I mean, hey, that's why this trend even got so popular to begin with, because they were realistic. So I've decided, why not make a top 10 list about the best of Joey Perleoni's Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy cutscenes. No one else has done it yet, so why not me? I will be ranking these cutscenes based on how scary, unique and realistic they are. So with that being said, let's get started. Happy Meal is one of the more obscure anti-piracy screens in Mario Party DS. And other than the legendary face reveal of the man and Joey Perleoni himself, this cutscene is... well, it opens up with Toad and Luigi enjoying their Happy Meal from McDonald's. And it happens to contain a demo of Mario Party DS, and the rest is basically a trailer for the game, until a man sneaks in and removes the mask of Luigi, revealing Joey Perleoni's face. And then it all goes black and we hear footsteps. For me, this anti-piracy cutscene is in last place because it's kind of hard to take it seriously. It tries to be scary towards the end, but when the rest of the video is basically just an old school advertisement for Mario Party DS, it loses the scare factor for me. It honestly just feels disconnected from the rest of the series. And it's also relatively short, at just 45 seconds, and you can't really pack a lot in so little time. So as it stands, this is probably my least favorite Mario Party DS anti-piracy cutscene. Forced character removal was one of the early anti-piracy cutscenes in which there wasn't as much lore as in some of the more recent cutscenes. And forced character removal is pretty self-explanatory from the title. A round of Mario Party DS is starting on Wiggler's Garden, only everyone but the player have disappeared from the map. The text box even states, for example, Waluigi isn't here. Then the camera goes to Luigi and the text box taunts him before he falls into an abyss. The reason this anti-piracy cutscene is down here is because it's just not that scary in my opinion. The fact that the text box itself tells you that the other players aren't there in a weird way makes it seem more natural than it is. You must show, not tell. In my opinion, if it was just an empty space without the text box telling you, I do think it would have been a little creepier. As it stands now, it's still a bit creepy. I mean, the map literally swallows Luigi, but overall it's one of the weaker ones in my opinion. Final 5 Frenzy Death Event was the first Mario Party DS anti-piracy cutscene that I actually personally watched, and it was the one that got me hooked up in this great channel. That being said, it's still one of the weaker cutscenes in the large scope. It's also a bit self-explanatory. It's Final 5 Frenzy on DK Stone statue, and Luigi, being in last place, gets called in by Bowser and is given a chance to spin the Bowser wheel. The twist is though that all the choices are just Thwomp. And one thing that puts this one above the forced character removal cutscene is that unlike that one, a text box doesn't just appear out of nowhere and state there's only Thwomp on the wheel. The fact that no one mentions the fact that someone has manipulated the wheel as if it's completely normal makes it feel slightly more surrealistic than the other one. Then a Thwomp smashes Luigi and Bowser taunts him, yada 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 as the obligatory taunt. And overall, it's a good anti-piracy cutscene, but from this point on, shit's getting real. This is the shortest anti-piracy cutscene of the bunch at only 20 seconds, but Joey sure prioritized those seconds well. This one isn't really an anti-piracy measure like the rest, but it's apparently considered one, so I guess I'll have it here anyway. And either way, this one is pretty creepy. And it starts off nice and simple, just Joey trying out download play. But then someone joins his party, and not just anyone, but someone called Mammon. If you don't know, Mammon is the Aramaic word for wealth, in this case symbolizing the deadly sin of greed, which can be tied to piracy. Yeah, imagine just casually playing Mario Party DS and someone you don't even know joins your party. It's even creepier by the fact that unless your DSs are close to each other, you can't join someone via download play because of poor connection. So the fact that someone actually is in your house, having joined your download party, is creepiness to the extreme. And we're only getting creepier from this point on as well. Shy Guy consumption is shivering to say the least. This anti-piracy measure takes place in the minigame Sweet Sloth, which to be fair has always been kind of creepy even before this, but this cutscene strengthens it. Again, it starts off simple and fine. Luigi and company are just playing a game on Sweet Sloth, giving the Shy Guy his candy. But then out of nowhere the music suddenly gets louder and Shy Guy is asking for Luigi, and he literally flings him in his mouth. The execution of this cutscene is what really makes it unsettling. The way the music slowly becomes eerie and how smoothly Shy Guy just flings Luigi, and how all of this feels realistic enough to be an actual anti-piracy measure in-game, sends several shivers down my spine. Now we're getting to the really scary stuff, starting off with a rocket ship incident in 5th place. Again, nice and simple at first. Luigi has just won a game of Rocket Rascals in Mario Party DS and he's walking over to the rocket. But when the rocket malfunctions, giving off dark smoke and vibrating eerie noises, the rocket sinks and the screen goes black with the music still playing. The text box opens saying, "You can be a rascal, Luigi, but you can't be a criminal," as the game crashes and teleports you to the Anti-Piracy Screen. This one is genuinely creepy, as you really get the feeling that something is seriously wrong, and the fact that the music continues while the screen goes black makes it even eerier, as if there's something in the dark out to get you. Without a doubt, rocket ship incident is creepy, but there are even creepier anti-piracy cutscenes coming up now. Item shop dialogue / secret boss is basically the OG of Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy cutscenes. It wasn't the first, I mean obviously the first one was the one that just showcased the Anti-Piracy screen itself, but this was the first one that started the trend of cutscenes before the screen itself. And it also happens to be one of the best still. Everything about this one is just creepy. Not even the beginning is all nice and simple, as Luigi is playing a game of Mario Party DS on Kamek's library where he's entering the item shop. Both of these two things were already kind of creepy before this measure, as Kamek's library is a kind of spooky board and the item shop has always kind of unsettled me with a huge Monty Mole just standing there. That's how the video starts, but then Monty Mole taunts Luigi for being a pirate and he forces Luigi into an unwinnable boss minigame. The boss minigame itself is actually just Mole Frail, but with a twist. You have no partner and there's nothing you can do. Nothing. All you can do is wait until the huge ass Monty Mole rushes towards you helplessly before it tears you apart and crashes the game. I would also like to add that whenever in these cutscenes when the game crashes, it plays a distorted sound effect of the song that's currently playing. And this anti-piracy cutscene has by far the most frightening sound effect. It literally sounds like your computer has frozen, it's about to explode if you don't do anything about it. But again, there's nothing you can do in this minigame. By far one of the creepiest anti-piracy measures, and we're not even in the top 3 yet. Power off refusal was when the lore really started to deepen in the Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy saga. For this it was mostly just cutscenes, but now we got to see something beyond those. And this is basically the personification of traumatization if it ever were to happen, no matter what age. The Anti-Piracy screen itself in Mario Party DS is already shivering enough. The music that plays in the background is really ominous and the setting is very gloomy with Mario and company looking at you in prison. And it also helps that the text on the screen tells you to turn off immediately. But what if you don't? Well, in that case, the DS basically calls the cops on you. Imagine your own gaming system you've had for maybe a lifetime and it's basically snitching on you, calling the cops, sending you off to prison. You're helpless and there's nothing you can do about it. And the music is just as creepy as the situation itself. It's possibly even more ominous than the Anti-Piracy Screen theme. Everything about this cutscene sends hundreds of shivers down my spine, if it were real, that is. And it's not even in first place. Host Hoedown. Hoedown? Showdown? Whatever. Anyways, this is easily one of my favorites of the bunch, and one of the most original ones as well. This anti-piracy cutscene isn't really based on a particular event in Mario Party DS, like the rocket ship incident or secret boss for example. Instead, this is a kind of alternative to the normal anti-piracy screen, where you face off against DJ Halibu, the personified host of Mario Party DS, who's mad at you for pirating his game and you must trace your apologies to the host. Although eventually it will be impossible as the text bounces around and Halibu kills you. I'll be honest, at first it seemed kind of silly the way the text box tells you to just offer a formal apology of what you've done, but the battle itself is really anxiety-inducing. There are a lot of unsettling things about this cutscene. For one, the music. You really feel dread crawling up on you mixed with surreality. It sounds like something out of your nightmares. Secondly, the background is a depressing mix of red and purple, and the way the background is patterned makes you feel very anxious. And thirdly, just the design of DJ Halibu is creepy as well. He's basically made of cylinders and polygons stacked up on each other, like something your brain would come up with during a dream. All of these factors are why, in my opinion, Host Hoedown is the creepiest cutscene of them all. Joey really managed to make something that was creepy, unique, and still felt like something that could come out from this game, all at the same time. Mad respect to you, Joey. But we still have one spot more to cover on this list, and the best cutscene of them all goes to...
Here I come!
The finale, without a doubt. It wonderfully ties everything together in the Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy saga, ending the series on a good note. It's sad that the story had to end, but all good things must come to an end sooner or later. Now, finale isn't really an anti-piracy cutscene, in fact it barely resembles an anti-piracy measure at all. Instead, it's like a short YouTube film that is connected to the rest of the saga through the lore. This short is about Joey Perleoni, who decides to acquire a Mario Party DS taskbot so that he can beat the Host Hoedown boss minigame, because as we all know it's impossible for any human to do it due to moving texts. So he runs a taskbot and DJ Halibu spawns in real life, chasing around Joey around town until he finally catches him and traps him in a DS. And it's fun all the way through to watch. Now this one isn't really scary like the rest, I mean let's be real.
I'm going to kill you!
But it's okay because it's not supposed to be frightening. It's meant to be a fun short film that ties the series together. So in my opinion, this is the best one in the Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy series. So there you have it. My favorite Mario Party DS Anti-Piracy cutscenes. Which one is your favorite? Please leave a comment down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, then please subscribe and share this video, because I mean, why not? Anyways, that's it, I'm signing off.